welcome back to the channel, everybody. I am Mick Alphaname. I hope you all had a fantastic week. We made it through another one, everybody. So this article here is from Cointelegraph.com. The big news just keeps coming. And once again, I smack my lamp. Every time. This lamp has taken so much abuse, hasn't it? This article is titled Ripple Acquires Fortress Trust, Expands License Portfolio in the United States. I wonder why. Why are they moving at light speed with all of these different acquisitions, Medico, Fortress Trust? What's going on? What's coming? I think we can see what's coming. Let's read this little tidbit here. It says, financial technology firm Ripple is expanding its portfolio of regulatory licenses in the United States with the acquisition of Fortress Trust, according to an announcement on September the 8th. Fortress Trust provides regulatory and technology infrastructure for blockchain organizations. The company holds a Nevada trust license that allows it to custody financial assets. The acquisition is in addition to more than 30. We covered this in the article before. 30 licenses Ripple holds across the country as a money transmitter. You think that they're not going to put those to use? Oh, they're coming in handy. I can just imagine how many meetings they've either had or are having right now. Ton of small banks to scoop up, but let's keep going here. It says, along with a bit license in New York, required digital currency businesses operating in the state. It says, quote, licenses are a powerful enabler to build and deliver best-in-class customer experiences for enterprises, unquote. This is from Monica Long, president at Ripple. According to Ripple's announcement, the technology and licensing held by Fortress Trust complements its business and product roadmap. What would that roadmap be? They have 30 licenses already in the United States. We've got confirmation they were talking about going after the commercial banks. What's that roadmap? Absolute bank domination. This is all while the banks are swaying in the wind. I'm thinking 2024, we're going to get some more collapses. There is not looking good. And now, have you been keeping up with the articles? Now they're going to have to be going after issuing corporate debt in order to raise money because they're having, the Fed has these new regulations where they have to have a certain amount of capital. But here's the problem. Where do you get that capital from? Where do the banks get that capital from to meet the requirements? Because there's a massive amount of deposit flight. You see how all this information we've been accumulating comes in handy? Now, I was talking about commercial real estate the other day, but let me make this clear because I know we have some people that are new. They may not understand why I cover that because commercial real estate is what will, I believe, collapse the next few banks. I'm going to be nice and say next few because there probably will be a ton of banks collapsing because of that. That's why I cover that. So Ripple's putting itself in perfect position right now. Let's continue on here. It says Ripple first invested in the company in 2022 via a seed round. The recent transaction amounts and other financial terms were not revealed. That's not necessary for me. All I need is for everyone who is building on XRPL to continue to expand and do as well as Ripple is doing. That's all I need. It says, quote, as an early investor in Fortress Blockchain Technologies, we've had a chance to get to know the team, its vision, and technology. Since their launch in 2021, they've built an impressive business with recurring revenue and a strong roster of both crypto native and new to crypto customers, unquote, said Brad Garlinghouse, CEO of Ripple. We're going to leave off right there. Let's move on to another article here. Everything that they're doing is extremely strategic. By the way, we got a big XLM prediction coming up later in a later chapter. Now, this article here is from U.Today and it's titled Ripple Eyes European Talent. I wonder why they've been going hard in Europe this last year or two. It wouldn't have anything to do with MiCA legislation rolling out in 2024 and Ripple being, and anybody pretty much that's in the Bankcoin family, having the opportunity to go absolutely bonkers in Europe. This is why Stellar's been getting deep in Europe, Ripple, and everything's been advancing rapidly over there. Because of that MiCA legislation. It says here, Ripple is extending its university blockchain research initiative into Europe, adding 4 new academic partners: Trinity College Dublin in Ireland, Epita in France, i.e. University in Spain and the University of Trento in Italy. Very strategic placements, very powerful. All of this is happening for a reason. They want domination. Ripple is not playing around. They're literally telling the people what they're attempting. Doesn't mean they're going to be successful, but so far things are looking good. It says this move is part of Ubri's 5th-year milestone and represents an investment of over $11 million in 14 European universities. And see, this is why you have these big money people, because we read a few articles that were comparing Ripple to Amazon and Apple and things like that. I mean, in the future, this is where they could be. Because I think a lot of the big money sees the trajectory. It's just a matter of time. The same way it took time for Amazon. Amazon didn't see a profit for a long time. I mean, a lot of you know that. You've been in the stock market for a long time. Remember that? They didn't see a profit for a long time. People hated on them and were doubting them. They were the new kids on the block. Ripple is very similar to that, right? All the other companies hated Amazon back then, remember? Because they were kneecapping the competition by selling things that were much lower than the competition was. I know that's changed now, but that's how it was then. And what is the sentiment around Ripple? All of their legacy competition is definitely in a juxtaposition to Ripple, right? Now they're starting to come around because they can't deny the technology anymore. They can't deny that the new era is upon them and they need the DLTs in order to survive. So that's changed a little bit. It says regulatory hurdles remain, but those are going to be removed with MiCA. But let's read this little tidbit. It says the expansion into Europe coincides with legislative developments in the region. Specifically, the European Union is exploring its market in crypto assets legislation, MiCA. It says aimed at creating a more transparent and unified regulatory environment for crypto assets. Eric Van Miltenberg, SVP of Strategic Initiatives at Ripple, commented on the expansion, stating that education about blockchain technology is important for real-world applications. However, it should be noted that despite the potential for innovation, regulatory hurdles still present a challenging landscape for crypto projects in Europe. By the way, I know you heard what happened with Square and Cash App. I know you heard that. And I said this when everyone was talking about FedNow. And we all know FedNow is what? It's electronic. It's not digital. It's electronic money, just like Zelle, just like Cash App. And we've seen a myriad of problems with Zelle this year, haven't we? We covered it here. And now you see a massive outage in Cash App. So I was saying before that they were, in no disrespect, and I don't know a more eloquent way to put this, but I was saying that those systems are trash compared to us. And now they're proving that they are. People's money were locked down for an entire day, whoever was using this Cash App. Right? Then there were glitches where they were charging people capital, charging people money, and for things they didn't even buy. So, I mean, that's absolutely insane. So, companies, listen, when we get a little bit more regulatory clarity for the entirety of the crypto sphere, companies will be looking at something that's more secure and will not go down because of one glitch, because of one problem. If one piece of that blockchain goes down, the rest of it keeps running. We've seen it before. That's why I was saying it's brilliant and great for the blockchains to go through trouble early on, so people can see that it functions the way it's supposed to, that it works. We saw a similar problem to the Cash App problem with the legacy banking system about a year and a half ago. They had a little security issue or glitch. This is at two different banks. One was in New Zealand and one was in the, I believe in the Bahamas. Entire systems shut down. People couldn't access their money. That doesn't happen with our systems. We have the solutions. Just a matter of time, folks. New financial system is coming. They can't deny it anymore. But let's move on here because we have a little bit of stellar news to get to. Oh, yes, we do. Now, if you remember, and I'm not sure how much they've expanded or how much they're still working together, but Flutterwave, look them up. Flutterwave and Stellar, little Google search, is one of the original partners with Stellar, right? I saw an article recently, not recently, a recent article, most recent article was like in 2021 that I could pull up. But I mean, Flutterwave on its own has been doing a lot since that time. That was an article about Flutterwave and Stellar. So I'm assuming that they're still using Stellar-based systems to a certain capacity. That's what I'm alluding to. It says here, Africa's biggest payment startup, Flutterwave, expands to India. So more Stellar associated companies continue to expand. Says Flutterwave, Africa's largest payment startup, is expanding to India after securing a partnership with IndusInd Bank. Wait a minute. IndusInd Bank. There's a bank coin working with this company. Which one was it, guys? We covered that. It was either Stellar or Algorand. Which one was it? I remember the name of this bank. But anyway, I just can't remember which bank coin company it had a project with them. I think it might have been Algorand. There goes the lamp again. Sorry about that. My apologies. Let's push that over here. It says, a leading financial institution in the Asian nation. The agreement will enable Flutterwave, worth an estimated $3 billion, to expand its remittance product into Asia's second biggest economy, said Olubenga Agboola, co-founder and CEO of the Pan-African Payments Company, who accompanied President Bola Tinubu to India for the G20 summit. Tinubu. Is that Tinubu out of Nigeria? That would be interesting. It says, quote, the Indian expansion for Flutterwave will be the first African company to do this at scale, where remittances from India to Africa become seamless and quick, unquote, Agboola said in an interview on Friday. So big things continue to happen on Stellar. We have a little bit more Stellar news here. Let's go to this article. This article here is from coinpedia.org, and it's titled XLM Price Prediction. Oh, we're starting to get price prediction. Things are heating up again. That's why. It says, price prediction from an analyst predicts Stellar's price to surge 500% in coming months. I'll take it. All right, so we're going to scroll down here to this little section titled XLM Price Analysis. And one of our favorite analysts makes a return. It says digital asset analyst, eGrag Crypto. Shout out to eGrag, one of my favorites. It says a well-known figure in the crypto community shared insights on the X platform, Twitter. eGrag Crypto suggests that Stellar Lumens XLM could be on the verge of a significant breakout, potentially exceeding $1 in value. Listen, given the right catalyst, I could definitely see that happening. It says the bullish outlook is contingent on a cross between the 21 exponential moving average and the 200 moving average in the weekly time frame. If this bullish crossover materializes in the coming months, eGrag Crypto anticipates a staggering price rally of over 500%. Not that staggering. I mean, look, in that last bull run, I know it was a while ago, but it went from a very low price to a very good price. I'll say that. It went to a very good price. It wasn't too far from $1. It wasn't too far. Okay. So I don't see that being staggering or mind blowing. I see that as being very possible, right? Given the right catalyst, right? It says reaching approximately $1.10. Notably, the analyst draws parallels between the current bear market for XLM and the one experienced between 2018 and 2021. I told you, right? Says presently the XLM price is undergoing a retest of the support level at approximately 11 cents, which coincides with the 50 moving average on the weekly time frame. However, the stability of the support level is under threat due to prevailing bearish sentiments within the crypto market. Yes, and I think that will continue. There's a lot of negative catalysts. There's low liquidity everywhere for a variety of reasons. T-bills and bonds is one. So there's that. All right, so now let's move on here. So this article here, and we're just going to cover this little tidbit here, is from Reuters.com, and it's titled, Fed's bar says central bank is a long way from any decision about issuing a digital currency. That's very interesting. I'll tell you why. I translate that because of the information that I know as we're not going to issue any digital currency until we collapse this system. You have skyrocketing debt. You have rising interest rates, which is harming everybody across the board, by the way, right? You have commercial real estate ready to bring down the banks at any moment. You have OPEC Plus doing production cuts, which is definitely going to inflate a lot of different things. It's going to affect a lot. So at the same time, you have OPEC Plus doing production cuts, That's going to be devastating to the West, by the way. You have the current people in charge in the United States shutting down oil pipelines at the same time. Now, no matter which side you're on, it doesn't make a difference, because the reality is that it's definitely going to affect the prices of certain things if there's not enough oil being produced globally to support massive economies like the US. You have that. I mean, everything leans towards controlled demolition, just like my subscribers used to tell me, a controlled collapse. And I don't see them, the US anyway, issuing anything until there is a significant collapse and it's necessary. Now, you've had Zelle with a lot of outages and problems, right? You have Cash App with a lot of problems, and Square, Cash App are the same company. So small businesses, not just individuals, because of Square, small businesses were not able to transact for the entirety of the day yesterday, those who were using Square. This is what I'm reading, of course, okay? If you have a different experience, let me know. Listen, I because of the flimsiness of the financial system, I think we see a massive black swan event, since a lot of people like to use that term, a massive black swan event within the next year and a half. I think a lot of banks are going to collapse. I feel it. And I just don't see how they're going to get out of this trouble. And then you can institute a digital currency with ease. The people would beg you for it. It's the same thing the Fed did when the Fed took their foot off the gas. They said, oh, we're going to pause rate for just this month. Then inflation went up and the people said, oh, you got to bring it down. They said, oh, yeah, we'll bring it down. And then they were able to raise rates again without the people blaming them for the consequences of raising rates, because the people begged them to raise rates in order to bring inflation down. You see how that works? Problem, solution. You cause the problem, then you issue the solution. This is a constant theme with these individuals. So that's what I think about when they say something like that. Right? Let's go to this article here from Cointelegraph.com. And it is titled, Saudi Arabia looks to blockchain gaming and Web3 to diversify economy. Who's deep in the MENA region? Saudi Arabia, UAE, etc. Ripple, Hedera, Quant, Stellar. Those are the ones that I know that we've covered here that are very deep. They have very deep ties. And wait, is Zenfin a part of some governing panel there? Advisory panel? XDC? I don't remember. I don't remember. I know Hedera is, and Quant is. Quant is a part of an infrastructure panel in the MENA region, right? And it's very interesting, isn't it, that they don't talk about that very much, but it's very significant. Let's read this little tidbit here. It says, the kingdom is currently diversifying its economy away from oil and turning to new opportunities such as gaming and Web3. Saudi Arabia has ramped up its economic diversification efforts, driven by its ambitious vision of 2030, in a bid to diversify its economy away from a dependence on oil. Wise. It says the kingdom has embraced emerging technologies such as blockchain and artificial intelligence and tapped into booming markets like gaming. It says, but while the country has yet to leave a significant mark in the global game and AI development, the ripples, hey, wait a minute, is there pun there? The ripples of its investments in the gaming sector could extend far beyond. At least that's what Web3 experts say. Quote, based on our work and communications that we have, Saudi Arabia is very, very interested in Web3, unquote. And Amoka Brands co-founder Yat Siu told Cointelegraph. Given the kingdom's partnerships with entities such as The Sandbox and even Animoca, Siu sees that there's an effort from Saudi to venture into the new iteration of the internet. The executive said, quote unquote, I think Saudi Arabia understands the principle that Web3 gaming or blockchain gaming, the one that we actually prove the owner assets, is going to be the future of gaming. Remember I said that there's going to be a lot of money, consistent capital flowing from gaming because those people that support the gaming industry are very consistent. They want their NBA 2K. And any other game, their PUBG, their Fortnite, they want that consistently. There's always new updates. So that means there's always new capital flowing. So thanks to the interest of its young tech-savvy population, Saudi Arabia, along with the United Arab Emirates, is driving the growth of the Middle East gaming market, According to a Boston consulting group, the kingdom represents 45% of the sector in the region, with a value of more than $1.8 billion. All right, so now let's move on here. This article here is from U.Today, and it's titled, Cardano Whales Dump 1 Billion Tokens. What's next for ADA price? Let's find out what's going on with ADA. It says, renowned crypto analyst Ali Martinez has recently highlighted a significant development in the Cardano ecosystem. Over the past week, large ADA holders have moved a substantial 1 billion tokens from their wallets, prompting speculation about the cryptocurrency's future. Martinez's analysis indicates that these whale accounts holding between 10 million and 100 million ADA tokens collectively possess a noteworthy 11 billion ADA. This represents approximately 33% of the total ADA token supply, a fact that captures attention. So despite the substantial influx of tokens into the market, valued at approximately $265 million, ADA's price has remained relatively stable. Oh, then what would we be concerned about this for? Exhibiting a modest 1.2% increase since the beginning of September. Oh, that's pretty good. Nevertheless, it's essential to approach this situation with caution. ADA's current price is hovering near a critical support level, the same price point at which it was initially listed on Binance 4 years ago. Listen, I'm only worried about its future. Do they have powerful partnerships? Are they working on powerful advancements? Does Charles Hoskinson and those building on Cardano still have the visionary eye and the motivation to carry this into the future so that when there's another bull run, then I'm concerned with price. When there's another bull run and it has the possibility to explode like it did in the first bull run that we took part of. It exploded multiple times. We took disgusting profits, and that's what I'm looking for once again. So whatever's happening right now, I'm not too concerned about, but I will stay privy to what's going on because it may be good information. This article here is from the dailyhodl.com, and it is titled, Institutions May Be Forced to Fight Over Just 5% of Bitcoin Supply, according to Invest Answers. Says a widely followed analyst says a key Bitcoin metric is looking strong despite crypto market downturn, citing an infographic from blockchain analytics firm Glassnode stating that 95% of the existing supply of Bitcoin has not moved over the past 30 days. The anonymous host of Invest Answers tells his 447,000 YouTube subscribers that all the flagship crypto asset needs to rally is a buy-side catalyst. I agree with that. I do. And like I said, I want Bitcoin to go off because it can, doesn't mean that it will, it can spark the next bull run. It says, quote, breaking news, 95% of all Bitcoin has not moved. And we read that part already. They reiterate. It says, but the real magic of this, imagine there's a catalyst and imagine big money wants to jump in and buy a truckload of Bitcoin. Price will just go parabolic. And that's just economics, ladies and gentlemen. I agree with that. It says, that is kind of why I'm obsessed with Bitcoin. It's so scarce. Quant is more scarce. Let me just put that. That just pops in my mind. I just want to put that out there. Quant is more scarce than Bitcoin. All right. There's less quant, but let me move on. It says it's so scarce. So literally when the big institutions come and they're fighting over that 5% and all the legacy holders are just sitting there watching, it says, anyway, it's a reason to be excited. Yeah, I 100% agree with that. I do. So we're going to end off here with a little bit of gold news. This is from oilprice.com. And it says this: China's massive gold buying spree continues. After returning to net gold buying in June, central banks continued to add to their gold reserves in July. Globally, central banks reported net purchases of 55 tons in July, according to the latest data compiled by the World Gold Council. In March, April, and May, central banks reported net gold sales, primarily due to Turkey selling 160 tons of gold over that 3-month period. According to the World Gold Council, this was a specific response to the local market dynamics and didn't likely reflect a change in the Turkish central bank's long-term gold strategy. I didn't think so. It says, this was confirmed in June when the Central Bank of Turkey flipped back to buying, adding 11 tons of gold to its reserves. They continued increasing its reserves in July with a 17-ton gold purchase. According to the World Gold Council, the Turkish government reinstated gold import quotas. Then it continues on here. It says the People's Bank of China was ranked as the largest buyer in July, adding 23 tons of gold to its holdings. It was the 9th consecutive month of buying for the Chinese central bank. China is the largest gold buyer year to date, having increased its official reserves by 188 tons. It seems like they're all in a gold race, doesn't it? Why? That's the question. What's going on that they've been accumulating so much gold over the last year and a half? It says the People's Bank of China now officially holds 2,136 tons of gold, making up 4% of its total reserves. Since China has a history of adding to reserves and then going silent. The People's Bank of China accumulated 1,448 tons of gold between 2002 and 2019, and then reported nothing for more than 2 years before resuming reporting last fall. So now that you have that information, what are you going to do with it? I know what I'm going to do with it. So until next time, let's get to the Monday.